I'm Elizabeth Henson. Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where I'm helping creative dreamers and overachievers tackle business and life. After 6 years of being my own boss, I finally unraveled a tiny bit of what it takes to survive in this amazing world of being an overly creative entrepreneur. I'm your business bestie, here to help you with all those big ideas and to normalize some of the day-to-day struggles that we all share. My mission is simple. I want more women to make a living doing what they love and to feel good about themselves in the process. The best way to start? We can't do it alone. So welcome. I hope you'll hang out with me here where it's totally okay to be messy. Hello. Welcome to episode 42 of the Messy Success Podcast. I am so excited to have you here today. I'm going to be covering a lot of stuff, a lot of announcements, things happening with being only about 8 weeks out from my delivery date, and how that is going to be affecting the podcast. We have such a juicy, amazing topic for you today, sharing all about adult friendships and how being an entrepreneur can affect those relationships and how to navigate when we lose friendships, all of that good stuff. You guys are going to love it. But first things first, this is episode 42. We're going to be tapering off show notes for a little while. I'm just trying to slowly eliminate things as we get ready for maternity leave. I'm going to be traveling to California again this month, but this will be our last super businessy episode. And then I'm hoping to share some personal journey with you as I get ready for the baby as we get closer. But things are going to be looking a little bit different as we prep for maternity leave. So I'm going to make sure that you have everything you need in the show notes for this particular episode. And that way, if I do feel super inspired and record new episodes between now and maternity leave, I can still refer back to the same show notes rather than having to recreate them for each episode. Because really, if I come back on, we're going to be sharing stuff about the baby, Henson home life, all that good stuff. But I'm really excited. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have 8 weeks. I need to start nesting in a major way. But don't worry, because this episode, we are going out with a bang. This is going to be super good. So that will all be at elizabethhensonphotos.com/42. And you can also access the Shine the Light waitlist from there. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But those are my big announcements, I think. You guys can always find me on Instagram. I'm going to be on there the most throughout the pregnancy and maternity leave. And that is elizabeth.henson on Instagram. You guys can DM me. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on. Okay. Also, being 31 weeks pregnant, if you've been there before, you know that the baby is now very comfortable on my lungs. So bear with me as I record this episode, but I'm just so excited about this topic. We're going to dig in. But first, I'm going to start with a story. And I'm calling this my brick by brick story. And it came about because I was having a conversation with my amazing project manager, who's also in the Shine the Light Society, and we were planning out my maternity leave. Sidebar, I met with a maternity leave strategist. I don't know if you guys know Chris from Sweaty Wisdom. She's on Instagram at Sweaty Wisdom, but she also just launched a business. What is it called? Oh, Biz Babysitters. And I saw her launch this, and I had just found out I was pregnant when I saw her launch this. I was like, oh my God, what a good idea. They help women prepare for maternity leave in their businesses when they're entrepreneurs. And I've already had 2 kids while I was an entrepreneur, and I know how scary and messy it can all be. So I said, for the third one, I'm doing it differently. My business model looks very different than it used to. I'm going to, book a strategy session with her, and it was incredible. I feel so ready for my maternity leave as far as my 2 memberships go. We mapped out everything. That is all done. All I really have to worry about now is my photography side of things, which at this point runs itself, and Instagram. That's it. I'm just going to be showing up for Instagram while I'm on maternity leave. And other than that, I really shouldn't have to be maintaining very much. Of course, email's never really been a place of overwhelm for me, but yeah, so I'm really excited about that. So anyway, if any of you guys out there are expecting or you're looking to take a leave of absence from your job or social media, I highly recommend Biz Babysitters. Chris is incredible, and I'm just so grateful that I set that up. Sorry, that was a total unplanned shout out, but I wanted to let you know that that's part of the reason why Jessica, my project manager, and I were having this meeting to talk about maternity leave and to talk about, do we want to bring in guest experts? Do we want to have members running things on their own? Of course, I dipped my hands into my memberships and asked them what they wanted, and they all voted to have the members run things because, the members take so much ownership in the program and what happens, and they know what happens. So while I'm on maternity leave, Jessica will be the point of contact, but the members will be each hosting a week of the month or the 6 weeks that I take off. And Jessica and I were talking about the masterminds, and we were just tossing names around of who's done masterminds before, who would be a really good mastermind facilitator. And she mentioned a member that we had when we had the beta group who did not convert into the actual membership, which is totally fine, right? That's what happens with memberships. Some people stay, some people don't. But anyway, she was we absolutely loved her. She was so great at facilitating and having leadership and was really great at digging into people's businesses and basically just was, the epitome of what our core values are inside Shine the Light. And of course, I was thinking about I'd never really gotten to see that side of this member. How awesome is that? So of course, I reached out to her and just told her that she was amazing and that, the members had been raving about her and yada, yada. But the story I want to tell is where my mind went with this, right? And I think that when we do lose members or when we ourselves leave a program or we feel like we're not seeing results, a lot of times it's because it's not happening as fast as we would like, right? There's so much education out there that's get this in 30 days, get these results in 90 days. And I do that too, because sometimes, if I say things 5x your productivity in 2 weeks, that's you're going to be learning the tools to be able to do that. Not everybody's going to actually do that. But I think sometimes when we buy into things, we set ourselves up for these crazy expectations and we think that things are going to happen fast. And everything we do as an entrepreneur and in our life, I want you to think of it like building a house or building a huge, huge structure, a castle, a wall, anything. And that every thing that you do throughout the day, every action that you take in your business, every relationship that you make, every impression that you make with another person is like a brick, right? And it's just one brick at a time. And you might not see the results of 1 brick, 2 bricks, 3 bricks. You might not even see the results of 20 bricks. But I was thinking about this member and I was like, gosh, had she stayed, had she realized the amazing bricks, the foundation that she was laying, she could be reaping huge benefits right now, seeing as how, my membership was really, truly looking up to her as a leader. And to be able to be in a group of women and have, 30 plus women that look to you as a leader is incredible, right? We all work so hard to be seen and heard and to be seen a certain way. And I don't think that she even realized how amazing of a foundation that she had set. And I don't want to say she lost an opportunity, right? Because I'm sure she's still out in the world doing amazing things. But when we don't see results quickly, myself included, we're so quick to pull the plug. When really, if we just stay the course and we just keep building those bricks little by little, knowing that the outcome is going to happen and that it might be slow, but it's going to happen. Eventually we will be able to look and we will be able to see that structure and we'll be able to see the benefits of the work that we're doing. But nothing is overnight. Even people that claim to be an overnight success, I promise you that they were working tirelessly for months and months before that, maybe even years. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. So I just want to encourage you to stay the course. And if you're feeling like you're not seeing results, just trust that every time you show up, every relationship that you make, every time you get the opportunity to leave an impression with someone, to make them feel seen and feel heard, you're laying that brick. And while it might feel lonely, you might feel like you're not getting the results that you want, I promise that you are actually building that structure. You just have to keep at it. And then one day you're going to look back. And my memberships are such a good example of this because I get very frustrated with how slow my growth is. Like, I'll be completely honest. I do. I'm human, right? But when I look back, if you would have told me 6 months or a year ago that I would have 2 memberships that bring in a recurring revenue that bless my family, it's not huge, but it's a blessing to my family, right? It's enough to cover a couple of our larger bills, right? And I'm like, if you would have told me that 6 months ago that I would be doing that, I would have said, oh my God, that's amazing. That's life-changing, right? But because I'm in it right now and I'm laying the bricks and I'm not stepping back to see my progress from afar, it's very easy to get frustrated. Be like, no one saw that brick. No one saw that brick. No one saw that brick. But when we step back and we can see the 30 to 40 to 50 bricks, that's when you're like, man, I really have come a long way and I really am making a difference. So I have to keep showing up and I have to keep placing those bricks down. So I hope that that's helpful. And I hope that that encourages some of you that whether you're in one of my memberships or maybe you're in another coaching program, maybe you've invested in a mentor, whatever it is, you made that commitment, stick to the course, and I promise you're going to see the results. Okay. So that was the story I wanted to lead with. But let's talk a little bit about adult friendships. We're going to get juicy, you guys. I'm going to get vulnerable. So I mentioned that we are about 8 weeks out from the baby, and I have 2 of my amazing entrepreneur friends who are putting together a very, very small and intimate get together. I know I have mixed feelings about multiple showers for multiple kids, but this is my 3rd final baby. It's a boy. I usually am very kind of stiff-armed about my friends spoiling me, but I am just letting this happen this time around. We don't have anything. This was a surprise pregnancy, so I'm letting it happen. But anyway, of course they needed my help with how to navigate and who to invite. And I love this stuff, but at the same time, anytime there's a major life event, sometimes that can be a reminder to ourselves of the people that would have been there or should be there, but are no longer, because friendships change and friendships evolve. And that was such an emotional process for me, trying to navigate, what do I do with these friendships that have kind of fallen off, right? That I don't really feel close with anymore, or maybe we had a falling out or whatever. I can't believe I even say that at 37 years old, but, it's a reminder of the friendships that hurt, right? It's a reminder of those voids, those kind of painful places that you don't have to think about on a daily basis. But then something like this happens and you have to think about it. And there's that, should I invite them just because, or should I not invite them? Oh my gosh, right? And then broken friendships, especially when you are in the same industry, or you still see them, you still have mutual friends, it leaves a lot of gray area. And I was really struggling with navigating some of the gray area. And I know that I have this tough exterior, but really I'm just like everybody else, right? Where my feelings get hurt. I can overthink, I can overanalyze. I'm an Enneagram number 2. So seriously, the quickest way to stick a knife in my heart is to be I don't like you. I care so deeply about that. I can't help it. It's just my personality type. Business-wise, I can tend to wing Enneagram 3, but in my life, my people-pleasing tendencies, I am such a hardcore 2, you guys. So anyway, I was trying to navigate this and how do I make sense of all this in my own head and my emotions? I know that I am very strong. I know that I'm very like mentally healthy person, if I can say it that way. So how do I navigate some of this? And I just was up in the middle of the night. Thank you, pregnancy. And I just kept thinking about how like I can't focus on them, the broken friendships, the people that have hurt my feelings over the years. I can't focus on them, right? Or how they think, because we always want to tell ourselves the stories of like, well, they did this to me. They said this. They feel this. They don't like me. And I said, that is absolutely like, A of all, not in my control box, but like B of all, not really my business. Have you guys seen the meme that's like, what other people think of you is actually none of your business? I'm like, that's kind of true. Like, it's not really my place to try to decipher how people feel about me. So I finally said, okay, I have to stop like telling myself the stories of what people think of me. And I have to focus on how I feel in their presence and think of it as like a space. Like, is that person a space where I feel like I can be vulnerable, where I feel like I can be myself? And then it became a very easy yes or no question, right? Like when I picture being in a room with certain people, is that energy a space where I feel free and comfortable and accepted, maybe even empowered and loved? Or is it a space where I feel guarded and protected, or like I have to be a certain way? And once I started asking myself those questions and thinking about it in those terms, it became so easy to navigate the people that love me for me, the people that I can be vulnerable around. And it sucks, right? Because it's like now you're realizing, gosh, like there is gray area, but it's not that those people did anything wrong. It's not that we're not friends anymore, but it just might not be a space where I'm wholeheartedly comfortable being vulnerable anymore. And that's just like the natural progression of relationships and of life. And it also all of a sudden made sense, right? So I had to reframe the stories to not be about them or how they feel, because I don't know how they feel, but to be about me and my ability to be truly vulnerable and safe in their presence. And of course, this being a really small gathering, like I'm already like super pregnant, super self-conscious. Like I don't want to entertain anybody. I just want to like, we're having a pool party. Like I just want to sit in a floaty or my pool chair and just be me, right? Like, and just know that my people that are there love me unconditionally for my overly ambitious ways, all the things, right? And feel free to talk about the things that I want to talk about. And, I think a lot of that builds because, people tend to say that I'm too ambitious, or I talk about work too much, or I make them feel less than because they're not an entrepreneur or things like that. But that's not the case. I just love like talking about real life things. I'm not much of one for like talking about recipes or fluffy puppy dogs. Like if we're in a room together, like I want to know what you're passionate about. I want to know what lights you up. Like what kind of legacy do you want to leave for your kids? Like that is what I want to talk about. And I need to stop apologizing for that, right? Like I want to leave a legacy for my kids. I want to show them so many things. And, recipes and fluffy dogs just doesn't do it for me anymore. And I hate that has, caused changes in relationships, but it's just how it is. And like life is too short for me to be in a job that, I was walking through the halls and it would be Monday. And people would be like, is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? Like, I cannot live my life that way. And I need to surround myself with people who get that, right? It's like people who want to look forward to not just Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well, right? Like that is who I am to my core. So I'm done apologizing for that. But I hope that helps a little bit when you're trying to navigate difficult friendships or friendships that have really hurt you over the years, like that it's not about them, that it is wholeheartedly You get to choose the spaces that you feel good in. And as much as I am an Enneagram number 2, and I like care so deeply that people like me, at the end of the day, what's more important is that I'm putting myself in spaces and relationships that bring out the best in me. And that's been huge. I've been sleeping better ever since I kind of realized that. So, a lot of those relationships that I'm referring to can be like the entrepreneur to entrepreneur. But I've also seen a huge shift in my life when it comes to like my relationship with friends who are not entrepreneurs, and not necessarily as bad. None of them have really hurt my feelings or anything like that. But just that it's different, right? Like to go to like a gathering of all moms or a play date and just feel like you're on a different planet than they are. I definitely have felt that. But, I think that's why it's so important that we do have community and that we do have people in our lives who wholeheartedly understand what we're going through, because being an entrepreneur is like such an effing roller coaster. Like all those memes that are out there about like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Oh my God, I suck. I'll never be successful. I'll never be successful. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Yes, I feel great. Oh my God, I feel terrible. Like that is so incredibly like valid and true. So, those relationships have changed and evolved a little bit. I find myself like, feeling self-conscious. Like, am I overly ambitious just because so many people tell me that? Like, am I annoying because I want to talk about my dreams and my aspirations and my work? And when I say talk about work, I don't mean like sitting around telling bride stories. Like I'm so over like just sitting around and telling like client stories or second shooter stories. Like I want to dig deep and I want to know like what makes you better? What are your goals? Like, why do you work so hard? What fuels you? Like, I just love having those conversations. I love hearing people's stories and what they want to do with their life. And speaking of recipes and dogs, that is such a great niche. And I know so many entrepreneurs that have like 6-figure businesses with recipe memberships, or like think about the ones that you guys use, like HelloFresh. Like that started with one person and one idea. How amazing is that? And then same thing with like, all the pet stuff. So don't get me wrong. I can have some recipe and fluffy dog conversations, but I might be throwing ideas at you on how to make money off of that passion. Because I just can't help it. So anyways, I hope that helps a little bit. And I want to bring you back to this story, the brick by brick story, because everything that you're doing, right, is building your ability is building your foundation to be a leader. And inside the Shine the Light Society, our headline is that, we help creative dreamers become industry leaders. And, part of being a leader is that you continue to lay those bricks, even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, even when we are feeling broken about relationships or any of that stuff. We have to continue to show up. We have to continue to foster the environments where we feel safe, where we feel like we can be vulnerable. And we have to foster those environments for other people, right? Like, a good leader doesn't just show up for their own benefit. A good leader shows up and creates those environments for other people. Because if you can be the creator and the facilitator of an environment where people feel seen and feel heard and feel safe, like they can be vulnerable, like I'm explaining about the people that I want at my, my small intimate get together. Like, if we can create that energy, then everyone will want to be around us, right? Like, and if you can decipher when that energy is present and when it's not, and when it's just gray, like sometimes it's just neutral and it's just gray and it's hard to read, but I would still rather have full transparency and safety and vulnerability than gray, right? And then sometimes it's like full on negative energy, right? And that just run for the hills when it's full on negative energy. And I know that that's really hard, especially when there's been people in our lives for a really long time, and when I look at the people who 2 or 3 years ago would have been like my number one peoples. That makes it really hard, but I just try to really focus on the energy and where do I feel like I can be empowered? Where do I feel like I can be my best self? And then how can we create that for the other people in our lives as well? So I hope that helps you kind of survive some of your difficulties in adult friendships. It can be really hard. And I feel like nobody really prepared me that still continues to happen well into your 30s. And I started the conversation on Instagram today as well. So pop on over there and say hi on Instagram, Elizabeth.Henson. And then don't forget, the show notes are going to be at elizabethhensonphotos.com/42. And you can also jump on the Shine the Light waitlist. There we are going to be opening the doors one more time before my maternity leave. It'll probably be mid to late September. We're going to do a small launch for one last time before maternity leave. And that is going to be an awesome time to join you guys because it is going to be facilitated a lot by the members. And they're going to be hosting different weeks and teaching on different things. It's going to be really, really, really fun. And I'm excited to see how that goes and if that's something we want to continue doing or not. Our challenge this month is we're focusing on No Excuse August and how to get more clear about what we can actually get done this month, how to 5x our productivity, but also to 5x our revenue, focusing on low-hanging fruit rather than coming up with all the new ideas and all the new things on our to-do list. Keeping it simple, staying focused. The members are really excited about it. I can't wait to come together at the end and compare all of our results. We started our gratitude and manifestation journals. It's a really fun time to be in the Shine a Light Society. So you can hop on the wait list over there at the show notes as well. And then hopefully I will see you on the inside next month. Other than that, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to hear your feedback about this. I want to hear the stories of how you have moved forward in some of your adult relationships. And hopefully you will take those steps to start evaluating yourself and the energy of the space with that person rather than trying to tell ourselves all the stories of how they feel, because we're never going to be able to control that. And really, it's none of our business whether they like us or not, right? All right, you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later.